A number of very accomplished Himalayan mountaineers were in attendance on the Nepalese side of Everest in 1996. Veterans such as Hall, Fisher, Breshears, Pete Schoening, Ang Dorji, Mike Groom, and Robert Schauer, an Austrian on the IMAX team. But 4 luminaries stood out even in this distinguished company, climbers who demonstrated such astonishing prowess above 26,000 feet that they were in a league of their own. Ed Viesturs, the American who was starring in the IMAX film, Anatoly Bukreev, a guide from Kazakhstan working for Fisher, Ang Babu Sherpa, who was employed by the South African expedition, and Lobsang. Gregarious and good-looking, kind to a fault, Lobsang was extremely cocky yet hugely appealing. He was raised in the Rolwilling region, his parents' only child, and he neither smoked nor drank, which was unusual among Sherpas. He sported a gold incisor and had an easy laugh. Though he was small-boned and slight in stature, his flashy manner, appetite for hard work, and extraordinary athletic gifts earned him renown as the Deion Sanders of the Khumbu. Fisher told me that he thought Lobsang had the potential to be the second coming of Reinhold Messner, the famous Tyrolean alpinist, who is far and away the greatest Himalayan climber of all time. Lobsang first made a splash in 1993, at the age of 20, when he was hired to carry loads for a joint Indian-Nepalese Everest team, led by an Indian woman, Bachendri Pal, and largely composed of female climbers. Being the youngest member of the expedition, Lobsang was initially relegated to a supporting role, but his strength was so impressive that at the last minute he was assigned to a summit party, and on May 16th he reached the top without supplemental oxygen. 5 months after his Everest climb, Lobsang submitted Cho-Oyu with a Japanese team. In the spring of 1994, he worked for Fisher on the Sagarmatha environmental expedition and reached the top of Everest a second time, again without bottled oxygen. The following September, he was attempting the west ridge of Everest with a Norwegian team when he was hit by an avalanche. After tumbling 200 feet down the mountain, he somehow managed to arrest his fall with an ice axe, thereby saving the lives of himself and 2 rope mates, but an uncle who wasn't tied to the others. Mingma Norbu Sherpa was swept to his death. Although the loss rocked Lobsang hard, it didn't diminish his ardor for climbing. In May 1995, he submitted Everest a 3rd time without using gas, on this occasion as an employee of Hall's expedition, and 3 months later he climbed 26,400-foot Broad Peak in Pakistan while working for Fisher. By the time Lobsang went to Everest with Fisher in 1996, he'd only been climbing for 3 years, but in that span he'd participated in no fewer than 10 Himalayan expeditions and had established a reputation as a high-altitude mountaineer of the highest caliber. Climbing together on Everest in 1994, Fisher and Lobsang grew to admire each other immensely. Both men had boundless energy, irresistible charm, and a knack for making women swoon. Regarding Fisher as a mentor and a role model, Lobsang even started wearing his hair in a ponytail, as Fisher did. "Scott is a very strong guy, I am a very strong guy," Lobsang explained to me with characteristic immodesty. "We make a good team. Scott does not pay me as well as Rob or Japanese, but I do not need money. I am looking to the future, and Scott is my future." He told me, "Lobsang, my strong Sherpa, I'm making you famous. I think Scott has many big plans for me with Mountain Madness.